Powered by Riverside.
Hello, and welcome into the Sad Fan, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made us sad from the previous week. And let's just lead right off. Obviously, you see it's myself, it's Wesley, and we're missing Chelsea, so hearts out. I know the weather's been terrible in Texas, so hopefully it's not her power's gone, because that could very well be it. But you know what, Wes? I'm sad the World Cup's over.
Yeah, me too. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. Go ahead.
That was a hell of a game. Yeah, I kind of wish it wasn't so early because I was in Vegas over the weekend and I ended up just waking up hungover to watch the game in my room. I ended up going down to the sports bar for PKs, but I would have loved to have been down at the sports bar for like the comeback because that was insane.
The final 40 minutes.
Mbappe is crazy. I think he's the greatest player right now.
Well, you know, it's funny because in my notes, right as the intro was playing, I was writing, "Is this the end of the Ronaldo Messi debate?" And you just threw Mbappe at me. You just threw a hand grenade. You took your teeth, you pulled it out, and you're like, let me ruin this segment really quick. Let's talk about Mbappe.
Well, I mean, greatest right now. Obviously, if you're going to go back like 8 years or so, I don't think so. But, I mean, I do think in the long run, Messi's better than Ronaldo, and Messi might be one of the greatest of all time. But I think right now Mbappe is the best player right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's up there with Maradona for Argentina. Yeah. Might be better than Maradona because of his club success, right? He's had more club success than any Argentinian ever. Yeah. He won the World Cup with not a great team in Argentina. Very few people had them on their list, and if you did have them on your list of winners, it's only because of Messi. That's the only reason.
Absolutely.
You had it. Mbappe, though, that French team was stacked. It was so stacked.
They didn't even have I can't remember his name right now, but he was injured.
Karim Benzema.
Yeah, Benzema. Yeah.
Well, he was available. Did you know that?
Was he? I thought he was injured.
He was, but he was listed as available for the final. If they made the final, he was going to be good to go, and they just didn't sub him in. Yeah. So
that was, I mean, just seeing a hat trick in the World Cup final that was so cool.
He's the second player ever, right? He was the second player ever to do it.
Second player ever. It was insane, and that second goal he scored.
Yeah, that was a hummer. That goal was
crazy.
It's interesting, though. Like you said, Karim Benzema was out, and he's now retired from international football. He's come out and said he's retired from international football. But like they had like 4 players out. Hugo Lloris played great in goal after the first couple goals, but the man, the myth, the legend, Emmanuel Martinez, stopping the first 2 PKs was phenomenal for Argentina.
That was crazy. One of them was a bad shot taken by the French guy, but the other one was a really good save. I mean, he just barely got his hands on it.
Yeah, and we may not have even made it to that point in the World Cup to PKs if he hadn't made a save in game, his leg save.
Yeah.
On that shot in the second half, as France was charging towards goal, and he made a kick save that was absolutely insane. On another rocket.
That was crazy because the French defender almost saved that one. Yeah, I mean he was maybe like a foot. His leg was like a foot too far back, but I mean that was a crazy like leg kick to kick it out. I was like, wow, that's good defending.
Yeah, lots of people on Twitter were commenting, man, this is a terrible day for the Soccer is Boring crew. Man, What is the Soccer is Boring crew going to talk about now? And I think. For me, yes, I'm sad that the World Cup is over. It seems like it comes and it goes so quickly. But now we get the build up to 2026. We got all the qualifying games.
And to be honest, I think that outcome was as good as they could have hoped for. Like having just like such an exciting game like that. Here in the U.S., I think it was like the most watched soccer game ever. and just
It didn't
to have
it didn't include the U.S.
Yeah, just to have something that exciting. I think it's going to put soccer on the map for a lot of kids.
Yeah, and have you seen Salt Bay yet? Have you seen the stuff with Salt Bay trying to get?
Fuck that guy.
It was the worst, right? I was like,
he's a hack. He's a hack. He's a fake. I'm tired of him. Everyone says his steaks suck anyways. His restaurants are overpriced garbage. I'm tired of seeing that guy, and he's disgusting. He shouldn't have kissed it. He shouldn't have been smacking it with his ring. He shouldn't have been begging Messi for a picture. He's disgusting, and I don't want to talk about him.
He's not a chef. He's a social media star, to be honest. Yeah. Like, yes, he owns restaurants. Yeah, yes, he owns restaurants. But, I mean, I encourage a lot of people to look up all the people that have dug into him and be like, this guy's a fraud. Like, he's just got famous because he chops meat differently is really why he got famous. And then the salt thing, right? But that was so cringe. I was like, oh, my God, get him off the field. This is disgusting.
He shouldn't have been there.
Well, Anna, my wife, she was like, I don't get what the big deal is. I was like, if a man, did you see how he grabs Lionel Messi?
Like that.
Yeah. And I was like, if a man grabs me while I'm celebrating something by my wrist, first he grabs me by the wrist, and that's when Messi pulls his arm away and looks at him like,
yanked him.
Yeah, and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, you know? And then he grabs Messi by the arm, and I'm like,
yanks him around.
We would have fought.
He would have caught an elbow.
Yeah, it was disgusting. It was just gross. And he kept trying to take the World Cup trophy from the players. And I was just like, get this guy off the field. I'm so happy that it's going to be not in my lifetime will we see another World Cup there, I don't think. Unless Infante takes another bribe. But this was outside of the play on the field. The play on the field, we had some great games in this World Cup. But outside of the play on
Saudi
the field,
Arabia beat the World Cup champs. Mm-hmm. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, and what I was going to say is outside of the play on the field, this World Cup was a mess. It was a logistical nightmare. It was a nightmare for the fans. It was rest in peace, everyone that lost their life trying to build the stadiums. The fake beer. They didn't have beer. They didn't have the fake fans that they were paying to show up to the games. We had Graham Wall that we celebrated and died at the World Cup. Like it was terrible. Go ahead.
I mean, how many people did we see though? I mean, I saw at least a few posts of like the really rich VIPs like drinking booze or whatever. Like they had wine and stuff there, and I'm not surprised.
No. And why would you be? Why would you be surprised at that by anything that they do at this point, right? Like your sister and I have talked about many times on here. Chelsea and I have talked about many times on here. The people at certain levels are really great people. They're just being manipulated by their governments and their Bibles. And I guess the same could be said about some Americans. Shout out, I do love that Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Greene are in a fight right now. I find that amazing. I'm so happy it's happening. Just sit back and get my popcorn, and I'm just like, oh, please keep fighting. Anyway, that's not about sports. It could be, though. Maybe celebrity boxing, because they're not politicians.
Celebrity death match.
They're not politicians. They're definitely just celebrities. But
someone please make an MTV-style celebrity death match with those two.
Yes. It would be amazing, right? And just make sure you have Marjorie Taylor Greene's eyes, like, completely, like, close together. But, it's not nice to make fun of the way some people look. But she does it to other people, so who cares? What, so it's over. You said you think that Ronaldo will always be, in Messi's shadow at this point. I agree, because Ronaldo's done. He's not going to get another shot at the World Cup, right?
None. Yeah. He's not going to come back in 4 years. He's not going to be able to, I don't think.
I don't think the team wants him to.
Unless he starts drinking Tom Brady's blood.
Yeah, I mean, he could. Who knows? Like, there's like, what is it? People believe there's an Illuminati. Maybe there's like a sports Illuminati with all these like LeBron James and Cristiano Ronaldo, all these players that we thought were done, and they just like have a goblet of youth blood or whatever that they're drinking to stay young. Like, and they mix some avocados in it, and they stay away from strawberries. Like, Like, who knows? But yeah, I tend to agree. I'm locked, cocked, and ready to rock for the lead up.
They even benched him during the knockout round.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't even think his team wants him around. The morale seemed to go down whenever he was in. It just doesn't look good for him. He destroyed his own life, though. He did it to himself, really, if you think about it. Like you threw a hand grenade in with your Mbappe at the very beginning. He threw a hand grenade into his own career. I will say, yes, Mbappe is going to be the new player we talk about with, is this guy the best ever? He plays in a weak he plays in a weak league, right? In I think he doesn't play in what's France's league called?
Ligua or something.
Is it Ligua? Because Serie A is Italy.
Yeah.
La Liga is Spain. Premiership is England. What is France's? I think you're right. I think it's
the France Ligua 1, or however you say it.
Ligue 1? Ligue 1?
Ligua. Yeah.
Ligue 1? Yeah, no, he plays in a weak league, so he's going to get a shot to just load up on goals.
Well, we'll see how PSG does in the Champions League knockout round when it comes back in February. That'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are saying is if he does not leave Paris Saint-Germain, that his legacy will be made through the Champions League. Like, that's where his legacy will be made if he doesn't leave. And that team is stacked. Like, I just read today, Messi's going to sign a 4-year extension at Paris Saint-Germain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I remember we were talking about a couple weeks ago when all the Inter Miami stuff came out. Yeah, that sucks. But I was hoping to see him in the U.S. That would have been awesome.
Well, a lot of players do both. They play in both leagues. They'll do, like, part-time here and then part-time there. So sometimes that can happen.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you got Neymar on that team. You got Mbappe on that team. You got Messi on that team. And then they're playing a lot of, like, subpar competition. So
there was one of the Portugal players was on that team, too. Hakimi, I think, was his name.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's not Portugal. That's Morocco.
Morocco. Yeah, sorry,
Morocco. Yeah, but Hakimi is on Paris Saint-Germain. I forgot about that. Yeah. Good call out. Yes, he is. He's one of my favorite players too. He's one of my favorite football players in the whole world. I love that guy's game.
I'm sad. I'm sad Morocco didn't win. I was kind of rooting for them to beat Croatia, but
furthest African nation ever, though. Furthest African nation ever, which is phenomenal. Turn our eyes towards 2026 and next year, the Women's World Cup in New Zealand and Australia. That'll be fun. Be awesome. Yeah, I think it's some of our legends' last World Cup, and it's really I can't say any words anymore.
What are you even trying to say right now? I'm confused.
So I'm just gonna say this is the older generation of our women superstars. This is like the last half of them on their way out, right? This is Alex Morgan's probably last World Cup, and they've set it up for these young stars that come up. Like Christina Press isn't playing in this World Cup. Mewis, I think, is in this World Cup. Tobin Heath is in this World Cup. But a lot of I don't think Megan Rapinoe. No, maybe she is. Maybe this is her last ride as well.
Abby Wambach's retired.
She's been retired for a long time, brother.
Yeah. Well, she played in the last one, didn't she?
No. She's been retired for a long time, bro. No, she didn't.
She played in 2019.
No, she didn't.
Okay, well.
You can pull it up on your computer because I'll filibuster for you here for a bit. I'm really excited to see Trinity Rodman, Dennis Rodman's daughter. I think she is going to be a superstar. I think she's going to replace Alex Morgan and be a great striker for the United States women's national team. There's a ton of young talent coming up that plays in Europe right now for the the U.S. national team. And we have really tough competition for the first time in a long time in England and in Germany and in the Netherlands, of course in Brazil as always, and in France. So I'm really excited to see what the women can do next year. I'm really excited to see the final roster and who makes it. But really, I'm really excited to see what Trinity Rodman can do. I've followed her.
I'm really excited to see us win a third consecutive World Cup championship.
Our jerseys are out there looking like Germany's jerseys and Brazil's jerseys for our women. They got all the stars across the top, So I can't wait to cop my jersey. I will rock it on this podcast next year. Yes, we are coming back for another year, another season, so get used to it. You have no idea how hard we worked on this and how terrified I was to ever do it. I'm loving it. You guys are very supportive. You guys are rocking out. You guys are loving the show, and I love you guys. But we are back again next year, and we're going to cover the Women's World Cup, and I will be wearing my Women's World Cup jersey for sure, 100%, rocking it.
You better.
Getting draped in nationalism. Seattle
I'm gonna
Kraken
keep wearing
won.
my Kraken gear.
Yeah, they won last
again.
night, 6-2, right? 6-2 over the Blues.
6-2.
Yeah. So it is just great. We are having a great time here, and now we just got to move on to what made Wes sad.
Oh yeah, we're still on that. 30 minutes later. I think for me, I think it's got to be the fact that I went to the restroom right before the end of the Raiders game because I was like, oh well, they're about to go to overtime, and so I went to the restroom, and then I'm just sitting in the stall, and then some guy comes in like, oh, the Raiders won. I'm like, no, you did. No, they didn't, bro. I was like, there's like 5 seconds left. They went to overtime. I was like, bro, you didn't see that? It's like, what are you talking about? And then like I finally get out, and like everyone's celebrating, and so like I load up Twitter just to like see if there's a video, and sure enough, I'm like, what? Stevenson, why did you lateral it, Stevenson? And then who was it? It was
Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers. I was like,
yeah.
Why did you throw it to your quarterback? What's he gonna do?
What was the plan there? Like, that was pure panic. And he's saying he didn't panic in all of his interviews. And I think that's just what you have to say, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think Stevenson was like, oh, I got a lot more yards than I was expecting. Let's see if we can house this bitch. And so he tossed it behind him. And then the other guy, I think he just like freaked out, like, oh shit, what do I do?
Jacoby Myers.
And then Jacoby Myers just like throws it to Mac Jones for whatever reason. Like, he panicked because really, like, what's Mac Jones gonna do? He can't run it. He's just gonna tear his ACL trying to run it. Like, for
a split moment, Jones became one person because Chandler Jones mushed Mac Jones into the ground.
That was,
how scary would that be for a quarterback that doesn't have any contact?
It wasn't even that big of a stiff arm, but it just looked so bad because Mac Jones just went down so easily. I've never seen anyone go down so easily. Yeah. He was just like, it's like stiff arming a child, you know, like you're not putting that much force into it, but it just looks bad because they just go down like a.
It was Chandler Jones as he was doing it. Do you think he thought to himself, I'm your god now?
Yeah.
As he pushes him into the earth. I swear, Mac Jones. It's that old comedic thing you used to see in football commercials where somebody gets hit so hard they get up with like grass is still attached to their back. That was what you're right. He didn't get hit so hard, but he did get mushed. It's like there was a little extra on the end too.
He was just like Chandler Jones, my way, boy. Get out of my way. Who are you?
The step over too, the ruthless step over.
Yeah, just like
ugh. And that had to feel good. Again, I don't want McDaniels to win because I don't want an excuse for him to come back as the Raiders coach, but that had to feel good for him to win in that way, right? To win in that way over Belichick. Like, they never make mistakes. The Patriots way, and then that happens. And I basically said on the message boards and on Twitter, I was saying this is akin to J.R. Smith forgetting the score in the NBA Finals. And them losing the game because J.R. Smith forgot what the score was. And LeBron James was, like, super angry at him in that moment. Like, that's what that was, is Jacoby Myers just forgot. He just forgot everything. And, like you said, went into panic mode.
Yeah, he was like, oh, we need to score. Like, maybe he, like, forgot for a second that it was tied.
It was absolutely the most insane thing that you could have seen. And the only other thing that I can think of was that the Colts and poor Matt Ryan, who's been benched, by the way. It's been announced he's been benched for Big Dick Nick. Nick Foles is going to come in. Benched again the second time in the season.
Right.
And it's because oh God, he doesn't play defense, and I fight with these zealots all the time. But he's attached to all these terrible comebacks. Go ahead, Wes.
That was equally as crazy, like as a comeback as the Raiders like last second play to win the game. Like,
yeah,
I was like, I saw it at halftime. I was like, oh, okay, that game's over. So
yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna go walk around the strip or whatever, and then I come back at like the end of the third quarter. I'm like, oh, they scored. Okay, I'll sit down and watch, while I'm waiting for the game, and then I'm gonna watch the Oregon State Florida game on this TV, and then I'm just like, what is going on?
What is happening right now, right? Yeah, it was absolutely wild, and I just had it. I was in Las Vegas because I'm in a different country, but I was watching on a side as I was working. I just kind of had it on as background noise, and I was working it, and I was like, "Oh, cool! They scored. Good for them!" Like when a little kid does something great, like, "Okay, buddy, good job." And then all of a sudden, they just keep scoring. I'm like, "What the fuck is going on right now? Are they going to come back and win this game?"
It was crazy too because I was watching the beginning of the game, and they blocked the punt for a touchdown, and then like 2 plays later, they recovered a fumble in the red zone, and I was like, are the Colts really about to blow out the Vikings just from Vikings making their own stupid mistakes?
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. I can't wait till we get big enough requesting guests, because I do want to get some sports gamblers on here, professionals, to tell us, like, what were the odds in that moment of that happening? Like, I mean, what could you have made if you had bet?
I'll tell you right now, I mean, I think it was like 1,000 to 1 or something like that.
If you had bet on the Vikings,
it was really low. Yeah, it was like 500 to 1 or something like that. And afterwards, because I was in Vegas, and then afterwards, I was like, dude, I could have just walked to the sports book, put like $20 on the Vikings, just like throwaway money, basically. Like that's the cost of a drink on the strip right now, and just just tossed it on the Vikings and just made bank.
Yeah, you would have been living in, like, your whole trip would have been paid for.
Yeah,
for $20. It's the largest comeback in NFL history.
And it makes me feel better because I don't know if anyone remembers, but I think it was 2013, Oregon versus TCU in the Alamo Bowl, and it was 30-0 at halftime, and the Ducks ended up losing like 33-30 at the end of the fourth quarter, and that was probably my most embarrassing moment as a Ducks fan. I was just like, what did we do? Like, how the hell? And I was just like so mad at everything. So I couldn't imagine.
Just happened?
I can imagine how Colts fans feel, but it's the NFL that shouldn't happen.
So a couple things on those 2 games. One, not all Raiders fans are that lady, sir, that was getting just screamed at and obliterated. We're not that lady. That was ridiculous. I am so sorry that was your first NFL game. You handle it like a champ. I commend you on your excellence. That person is pathetic, and hopefully she gets what's coming to her, whatever it may be.
How are you gonna scream at, like, they're not even, that guy wasn't even doing anything to you, and you're just mad because he's wearing the other team's jersey? It's an NFL game, and you're in Vegas. Literally, Vegas probably has the highest percentage of visiting team fans out of any stadium.
Yeah, no, it was one of the most pathetic things I've seen in a long time. I mean, golly, why can't we just go to a sporting event and enjoy the event together? Like, you and I have talked smack to people back and forth. They've talked smack back to us. We high five at the end of the game. We move the hell on. I told you the story about me going to the England-USA game. I met some great friends that we're going to be meeting with here in January, and that are English. And I was there, and I was cheering for US. And it was funny because their only comment was, that guy has some balls. Because I was in there by myself. Like, it was just me, but I was like, I love sport. I love it, and I love Team USA, and it's a big match, and I'm not going to miss it. I don't care. And this was this guy's first game, so I get the feeling. It's like your first NFL game, so don't you took that from him. Yeah,
like, if I'm the home team and we're blowing out, like, the visiting team, like, I'm not going to, like, get up in the visiting fans' faces. Like, I'll join in, like, the na-na-na-na, hey chants, like, I'll do all of that, but I'm not about to, like, rub it in someone's face. Like, they're here to have, like, they probably spent money to visit. I'm not just gonna get up in their face and be a dick.
We did
Like,
that.
why?
Remember at one of the Kraken games we went to against Minnesota Wild, where we whooped their ass. We were surrounded. It was you and I and maybe 2 other Kraken fans in front of us, and then it was all Minnesota fans around us in that section. And we were having a good time with them. They were sitting down the way from us. We were joking back and forth with them. That one of the guys was like, "I know, I came all the way from Minneapolis for this." He stood up in the middle of the arena, and it was fun. We just had fun, and that should be what it is. Like it should be joking back and forth, like razzing each other, but you don't need to scream in someone's face or be a total complete asshole, you know?
A complete Karen.
Yes, a complete Karen. Second thing from that game, after the Vikings game, they signed a quarterback, Wes. They signed a quarterback who has now been signed to his 7th NFL team. And he was a top overall draft pick. Do you know who it is?
No.
Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen is now, I know it's not that long ago, right? Like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, he was drafted number 12 overall, or 13. I think it was 12. 12 overall. And he was replaced with Kyler Murray the very next year. And ever since then, he just team after team after team. And the Vikings have signed Josh Rosen to his 7th team, to the practice squad. And what was funny was a reporter said this about sums up or Josh Rosen's Twitter about sums up his NFL career, and it's like in the picture he's playing for the Browns, and in the picture he's playing for the Dolphins. In the profile in the bio he's playing for the Browns, and his first message is signed by the Vikings. So he's like, that about sums up Josh Rosen's career, and I was like, that's fantastic. So I do feel bad for the guy. The Jags beat the Cowboys. There's nothing I love more than the Cowboys losing in that way. And to watch the Cowboys
lose.
Yes, especially in that way. With Dak Prescott getting intercepted, and it wasn't his fault, and I love it because immediately all the fans go, "Why'd you do that?" And he's like, "Yes, you're right. I made Noah Brown tip the ball into the sky,
and a great catch."
Yeah, and a return for a touchdown. That was my intention. You're right. That's why. So I love that they immediately turn on him. We always forget that there's 21 other guys playing in the game, right? Yeah. And we're immediately like, "Hey, quarterback, why'd you do that?"
Right? It's like, no, I threw it right to him. Like, not my fault. He sucks.
Poor Noah Brown, because earlier in the game, he made a phenomenal catch earlier in the game. And that one is just like, it's the cherry. But you know what, Wes? I felt bad for Trevor Lawrence, and I'm so happy he got the second chance to drive the team down the field to go for overtime, because that guy was trying to win the game, scrambled, and was trying to get more yards, and just got hit in a funny place on his hand, and that ball just went up into the air, and I was like, no, that can't be happening to him.
Sucks, yeah.
Like, he's played such a great game, this can't be how it ends for him, and it didn't. It ended with the Cowboys losing. And then the last thing I want to talk about here on the NFL West is the NFC South. It's starting to remind me of the NFC West. That year the Seahawks won the division at like 7-9.
I mean, even the NFC East like 3 years ago when the Cowboys won it that year at like 7-9 as well, and they were close to going like 6-10 and winning the division.
Yeah, it was the Commanders. Yeah, the Commanders did it.
Washington football team.
Someone's got to win that division.
It might even be worse. It might even be worse. Like it might be like 7-10.
Could you imagine if it's 6-10?
6-11. That would be embarrassing.
Or pardon me, 6-11. That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Imagine if Tom Brady sneaks into the playoffs with an 11-loss team.
It'd just be crazy. This is his last year, right? It's got to be his last year.
I don't know. We'll see.
And here's the thing.
He's playing terrible.
I
didn't think he would drop off this quick. It's like because
he's surrounded by a bad team. He's surrounded by a bad team. We talked about his whole offensive line retired or is injured. All of his receivers have been in and out of the lineup all year long. Julio Jones is a shell. He tricked us in week 1. He deceived us in week 1, and then was immediately back on the injury reserve.
I mean, some people are saying that he might go on a 1-year deal to Patriots. to retire a Patriot. Who knows?
I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know. That would be a terrible choice because that division's really good right now with Buffalo, Miami, even New York's good. New York's a quarterback away. Zach Wilson is just bad. Zach Wilson's bad, man. He's a really bad quarterback. He likes to throw up ducks. Like, he just throws them up into the air and we just stare at him fluttering around. But I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about my 49ers prediction still at this point. Like, that defense looks unreal. You look really dumb about all the fuss you made about the Seahawks going into that.
Look,
but I told you.
That wasn't a good game. Look,
the 49ers defense just looks otherworldly. And with Kittle looks finally healthy. The only thing is they got Brock Purdy, but if they can make it to the playoffs, which they have already, right? Their spot is sealed. Who knows what they can do? They can make some noise.
I don't want to hear blah about Brock Purdy. Screw him.
Wow, we started talking about the NFC West, and you just sat all the way back. You became less interested. You dejected. You're dejected. You ejected from the conversation. You're like,
all I can say is, you know what? I'm glad that the Rams are trash. They are the worst ever defending Super Bowl champions in the history of the NFL, and it couldn't have happened to a worse team.
Well, last things last. Let's put a bow on this bad boy. We had a huge signing day. So how are you feeling about Oregon?
I'm feeling great. We shelled out a bunch of money. Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to hide it. A lot of people are like, oh no, people want to come to my college because of the tradition and history, and they can see themselves like they really like the coach, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you got all those 5 stars because you paid them because of the NIL now. Like, let's not beat around the bush. And you know what? We have Phil Knight, and he's going to pay out the bag because he wants to see us win a national championship. And you know what? I'm okay with that because that's all kosher now. Like, who cares if we're paying some guy $1 million?
Yeah, he doesn't have to do that. He could just sponsor them. Like, could you imagine just getting sponsored by Nike as like a 3-star? Like, you know how many 3-stars you can get just by sponsoring them? Just be like, hey, we'll give you a bunch a year. You know, so it's the 5 stars and stuff you're probably gonna have to pay, but those 3 and 4 stars you could probably, hey, you know what, we'll sponsor you while you're in college, like fully, not just the team. Yeah. You personally will be sponsored by Nike, and that's it. Like you may not even have to shell out too much cash.
That's it. Yeah, and you know what? Like, I don't care if we throw a guy $1 million to convince him to leave or to like renege on his Bama commit to come to Oregon. I don't care because guess what? It's all about winning. Screw you guys.
UCLA stole Oregon's. UCLA stole Oregon's quarterback.
Yeah, screw you guys.
You got so excited just now. You kicked your laptop. You just kicked it. Kicked your laptop.
I did.
But
you know what? Yeah. And I almost feel bad for Notre Dame because we stole 2 of their commits right from under their noses. And a lot of Notre Dame fans are like, what did we do to you? But you know what? Those are the breaks.
Them's the breaks, kid. Them's the breaks. So we've got the transfer window. UCLA snagged the number 3 quarterback prospect overall from Oregon. But you guys got Bo Nix in his 28th college football season. So he'll be back. I can't wait to watch UCLA put it on him next year after all the bullshit that I had to deal with.
Heisman, baby. Heisman.
With that,
Heisman.
I think I owe you something from that bet we made, by the way.
Oh, yeah. So I actually, so it was a jersey bet. I bought the jersey. I'm going to ship it over.
Okay, I'll pay you back.
Yeah, you're going to have to pay me back something for the jersey. So
yeah, I'll pay you back for the jersey.
And then you're going to have to wear it whenever you get it on one of these shows.
Yes, I will wear it immediately when it comes in, whenever we ship it, whenever you send it to me.
I should also send you that little duck quacker that I had.
I'm not doing that.
That one episode, and you're going to have to blow it during the...
That was not the bet. But Carlos Correa...
You should also have to sing the Oregon fight song.
I don't know it.
That's what Google's for.
Speaking of cash, Carlos Correa flips from San Francisco Giants to the New York Mets for $350 million. I know it's baseball, Wes. We got to talk about it. We are having these guaranteed contracts are getting out of hand because Nemo, just a very basic player, got signed by the Mets for $160 million. It's just wild the amount of money that's being thrown out there. So I don't want to leave today's show without mentioning that. Hats off to Zion Clark. Do you know who that is, Wes?
Nope.
He is the wrestler that doesn't have legs. He was like a championship wrestler in college. He won his MMA debut. As we love to do, we are going to end the show on some positive notes. Congratulations to the Texas women's volleyball team for winning your first volleyball title. Hell yeah. Way to go. Hell of a season, Texas Longhorns women's volleyball team. And we are ready for the Women's World Cup as we announced. But I want to encourage all of you to go check out Kelsey Plum. She is my favorite women's basketball player. She appeared on Kevin Hart's show recently, The Ice Tub with Kevin Hart. I think it's called The Ice Tub, something like that, with Kevin Hart, and she was phenomenal. Please go check her out. Learn about these athletes because it matters. If you can build attachments and build some type of internal rapport with these athletes, you will watch the sport, and she is phenomenal. She won the championship with the Las Vegas Aces last year, and she's one of the funnier personalities on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram. Go ahead, Wes.
And best of luck to Brittany Griner as she's decided to go back to the WNBA.
Yes.
So, best of luck.
Kick ass. We only wish the best for her. Hopefully Diana Taurasi decides to run it back one more year and try to go for the chip. Do it for Brittany. We'll see what they can do. This is going to be our last episode before Christmas. We'll come back to you after Christmas. So Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or Happy Hanukkah or Happy Kwanzaa. We don't care. Whatever you celebrate, just celebrate it right. Don't be a Karen at a Raiders game. Don't get in somebody's face. Just enjoy life. We're all here to cheer. We're all sad fans. So thank you so much. If you need to reach the show, you can reach us at the Sad Fan Cast on Twitter. You can reach us at the Sad Fan on Instagram. And you can reach us at the Sad Fan Podcast Network on YouTube. We look forward to seeing you. Wes, you want to close it down?
Someone please ask Fry for the bloopers from this episode.
Have a wonderful holiday season. Goodbye from the Sad Fan, and we will see you after Christmas.